So this is actually a classic story in Magic of a card shark who was playing cards with four other gamblers. The card shark and the four gamblers. It's actually called a card sharp, but since everyone calls it a card shark, I'll call it a card shark as well. And the first question you might think to yourself is, well, why would people play cards with the card shark? And the answer is, well, they didn't know. They didn't know until the game proceeded and they started to pick up on things that the card shark was doing wrong, and they started to get a feeling that maybe they might be getting cheated. And basically the way that that happened is that there were cards, in this case 4 aces on the bottom of the deck, and when it came time for the card shark to deal, he would give the deck cuts like this, but when he would turn over the deck, the other players could see that those 4 aces were still on the bottom. Even when he would give the deck a complete shuffle, like this, or what's called a belly cut in gambling, which means to cut out the center of the deck like that, and then give it a few more quick cuts like this, when he would turn the deck over, the men would see that the aces were still on the bottom of the deck. So one of the guys finally says, you know something, look, it's not that we don't trust you, because we don't, but if you wouldn't mind, would you mind if we lost the aces into the deck ourselves? That way we can be sure that you're not cheating. Well, the card shark couldn't say no, so he said yes, and this is what the 4 men did. The first gentleman took a group of cards from the deck, like this, and spread them into a fan. Okay, this is what's called a fan. Then he took the first ace from the deck, and he buried it into that fan. I want you to be able to see that, really going right there into the middle. Took some more cards from the deck to bury that ace. That way that ace is totally separate from all the other ones. The next player took the next ace, in this case the ace of hearts, cut it into the middle of the deck, just like that, took some more cards from the deck to bury that ace, and then completed the cut. The next player took the next ace, in this case the ace of clubs, placed it onto the cards like this, cut it into the middle of the deck to lose that ace, took some more cards from the deck to bury that ace, and completed the cut. The last player took the last ace, cut it into the deck, took some more cards from the deck just like this, and completed the cut. So the card shark said, look, you guys have now lost these aces into different parts of the deck yourselves. Couldn't possibly know where they are. But listen, it's getting a little late. So instead of playing poker, let's play a game of cutthroat, okay, or what's known as cutting to high card. So that means that a player will cut the deck like this, and let's say it's the 4 of diamonds. In order for me to win, I have to cut higher than the 4 of diamonds. But I'm so confident that I can beat you in this game that I'll make it even a little bit more challenging. Not only do I have to cut to a higher card, but I have to cut to a higher card of the same suit. So if you cut the deck to the 4 of diamonds and I cut to the 10 of clubs, that doesn't win. I have to cut the deck to the 10 of diamonds. That makes it so much more difficult for me. Well, these seemed like incredible odds, and the 4 men, of course, took them up on the bet. So the first player took the deck in his hands, gave it a cut like this, and turned over the card he cut to, well, in this case, a king. Well, that's a very high card, the king of clubs. So the card shark said, look, you cut to a very high card, that's the king of clubs. I don't want you to think that I'm cheating you or anything like I know what the top card or the bottom card of the deck is, anything like that. I'm going to really give the deck a cut, just like this. He did that, cut the deck right about halfway, and in this particular case, he turned over the ace of clubs, to beat that particular king. Well, the next player is thinking to himself, all right, that's highly unlikely. I don't know exactly how that happens. Where is he storing these aces? He's got to know where they are. I know. He's thinking, they're not in the middle of the deck. What's the most logical place for someone to store the aces? They're on the top of the deck. I'm going to flip over the top card. I'm going to get an ace. I'm going to beat this guy. So the next guy took that deck, flipped over the top card, and in this particular case, he cut the deck to the king of hearts. So the card shark said, look, you guys have insisted that I'm cheating. You guys cut the aces into the deck yourselves. I have no idea where they are. You cut the deck to the king of hearts. There's no, I don't want you to think that it's on the top of the deck or on the bottom somewhere. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give the deck a cut. You can see it just right there, very fairly cut into the middle of the deck. Let's see what card I cut to. And in this case, he turned over the ace of hearts, the ace to beat that particular king. So the next guy is really beside himself. He's thinking, I don't know if I want to lose my money. What's the most logical place for that card chart to be storing those aces? They're probably not on the top of the deck. I just saw that. That's what he tried, and he ended up getting a king. They can't be in the middle of the deck. No one's that good. What's the most logical place for him to be storing these aces? So he thinks about it and thinks about it and comes up with it, and he says, you know what, I know. They're on the bottom of the deck. I'm going to flip over the whole deck. I'm going to get an ace, and I'm going to beat this guy. So he does that. He turned over the whole deck, and in this particular case, he managed to cut the deck to a king, the king of diamonds. So the card trick says, look, you guys don't trust me. Now you're cutting the deck, flipping it all over, taking the bottom card. This is the king of diamonds. I mean, you don't trust me. I don't know what to tell you. You can see these cards are totally well mixed, but I'll tell you what, I'll cut the deck face up so you can be sure I can't cheat you. And he did that, and he took the deck, cut about halfway, and in this particular case, he cut to the ace to beat that particular king. Well, the last guy's thinking to himself, I don't even want to play. This is ridiculous. And the card trick says, listen, I'll tell you what, you shuffle the deck. Okay? Make it impossible. I want it to be totally fair, beyond question. So you take the deck and shuffle it up. He did that. Took the deck, gave it some shuffles like this. And the card trick says, listen, I want you to take the deck and give it a fair cut. Not any of this top card, bottom card stuff. Really give the deck a cut. So he did that. Took the deck in his hand like this, gave it a totally fair cut, just like that, turned over the card he cut to, and in this case he happened to cut to the last king, the king of spades. So the card trick said, listen, I'll tell you what, if I can't cut to a card that will indicate the position of that last ace, I'll give all of you your money back. Does that sound fair? Men agreed. He says, okay. I'm going to give the deck a shuffle like this. And again, no funny stuff, no cutting the deck face up or anything like that. I'm legitimately going to take the deck and just cut about halfway. And let's see. And in this case, he got the 4. So the men reach for their money. They're thrilled. They're so ecstatic that finally the card shark missed. And he says, no, no, no. I didn't say I would cut to an ace. I said I would cut to a card that would indicate the position of the last ace. This is a 4. So the card shark dealt down 1, 2, 3, and 4. And sure enough, he cut to the ace to beat that particular king. And that is why you never play cards to strangers.